Hello everyone, welcome back to the Global Alert TV channel. Please subscribe and like my videos because today we are going deep into one of the most dramatic and significant battlefield updates of this war. The news that Ukrainians have destroyed all frontline radars and air defenses is not just a shocking headline, it is a development that can reshape the future of this conflict. To truly understand what happened, why it matters, and what it means going forward, we need to look at every angle, from the exterior view of the systems that were targeted, to the interior operations that once made them powerful, to the performance and safety features, the unique value of this operation, the cost involved, and finally the lasting consequences. This is more than just a strike, it is a transformation of the battlefield. When we begin with the exterior of these radar and air defense networks, the first image that comes to mind is the sight of tall radar towers with rotating dishes, large mobile launch vehicles parked in clusters, and protective camouflage netting stretched across open terrain. From the outside, these systems were designed to look imposing, to project power, to serve as both a shield and a warning that the skies above were being watched. Russia relied on a network of surface-to-air missile batteries such as the S-300 and S-400, supported by early warning radars and short-range defense units. On the battlefield they stood like armored guardians, tall, metallic, and seemingly invincible. But that exterior strength was exposed as fragile when Ukraine launched precision strikes that reduced these massive machines into smoldering wrecks. The once impressive silhouettes of radar dishes are now twisted frames, burned out and silent, their exteriors nothing more than the shell of failed technology. The image of fire rising from these destroyed structures paints a clear picture. Power that looks strong on the outside can collapse quickly under targeted pressure. If the exterior showed us the destruction, the interior reveals the heart of the story. Inside these radar cabins and air defense command centers were the critical electronic systems, the screens glowing with green blips marking incoming aircraft or drones, the communication lines buzzing with commands, the operators trained to scan and intercept threats. These interiors were meant to be the brain and nervous system of the frontline, feeding constant information to commanders and guiding missiles to intercept approaching strikes. But once the Ukrainian forces targeted them with precision, those interiors turned into graveyards of silent machines. Imagine sitting inside one of these cabins moments before impact, the air humming with electricity, the radar dish spinning, the operators watching the screen, and then within seconds, the silence of destruction, equipment shattered, wires melted, and no signals to detect anything anymore. The destruction of the interior systems is perhaps the greatest loss, because without them the entire exterior shell is useless. A radar is only as powerful as the signals it produces, and once those are gone, the frontline is left blind and vulnerable. This leads us into the performance aspect. Ukraine's performance in this operation was nothing short of remarkable. For months, questions lingered about whether they could really challenge the deep layers of Russian air defense that were considered some of the strongest in the world. This strike answered that question. The Ukrainian side deployed a combination of long-range drones, Western-supplied missiles, and precise intelligence to coordinate simultaneous strikes that overwhelmed the Russian defenses. They didn't simply hit one or two radars, they systematically took out the entire frontline network. That kind of performance requires meticulous planning, coordination between different military branches, and the courage to take high risks in exchange for potentially game-changing rewards. On the Russian side, the performance of their systems collapsed completely. Despite years of boasting about the invincibility of the S-400 system, it failed to protect itself, failed to shield the radars, and failed to stop incoming attacks. This performance gap illustrates the reality of modern warfare. No system, no matter how advanced on paper, can withstand coordinated and innovative tactics if the enemy adapts faster. Safety features are another critical element. Russian radar and air defense systems were supposed to be built with redundancies, multiple layers of radar coverage, backup generators to keep them running, encrypted communications to avoid jamming, and decoys to mislead attackers. Yet these safety features did not work when Ukraine struck. The precision of Ukrainian weapons meant that even redundant systems were destroyed in sequence, leaving no backups functional. Safety protocols that were meant to ensure survival in combat could not stop the reality of accurate, modern strike packages. In contrast, Ukraine ensured the safety of its own strike teams by relying on unmanned systems and standoff attacks, minimizing exposure to return fire. Their safety came from distance, stealth, and the ability to overwhelm rather than expose soldiers to direct risk. This highlights how safety in modern war has shifted from passive defense to proactive attack. Now when we think about unique selling points, the Ukrainian strike stands out as one of the most strategically meaningful actions of the war so far. By destroying frontline radars and air defenses, Ukraine effectively removed the shield that Russia depended on to secure its troops and equipment near the battlefield. Without radar coverage, Russian units cannot detect drones, aircraft, or missile strikes until it is too late. This creates a window of opportunity for Ukraine to launch further attacks with far less resistance. The unique value here is not just in the physical destruction of hardware, but in the psychological and strategic shift it produces. Russian soldiers at the front now know that the sky above them is no longer under their control, and Ukrainian planners know that they have a chance to strike deeper, with more freedom. International observers see this as proof that Western training, intelligence sharing, and advanced technology are paying off in visible, measurable results. It also shows that Ukraine has mastered the art of identifying and exploiting vulnerabilities in a system that once looked unbeatable. That unique ability to adapt and innovate is a selling point that no one can ignore. When we consider price, we can look at it both financially and strategically. The cost for Ukraine to carry out this operation involved deploying drones and precision munitions that, while expensive by Ukrainian standards, are still far cheaper than the billions of dollars worth of radar and missile systems destroyed. A single Western-supplied missile costing a few $100,000 can eliminate a radar station worth tens of millions. Drones built with commercial parts costing a few $1,000s can overwhelm defenses that took years and billions to construct. The financial price is heavily tilted against Russia, which invested enormous sums in building and deploying these systems only to see them reduced to ashes in minutes. The strategic price is even higher. Russia loses not only equipment but also the ability to project confidence in its defenses. For Ukraine, the price paid is relatively small compared to the tactical and psychological advantage gained. This operation demonstrates the efficiency of asymmetric warfare, when a weaker side uses innovation to impose a disproportionate cost on a stronger opponent. As we move towards the conclusion, the broader significance becomes clear. The destruction of frontline radars and air defenses is more than a single victory, it is a turning point in how this war will unfold. Without radar coverage, Russia cannot reliably stop future Ukrainian drone swarms, cannot guarantee the protection of supply lines, and cannot prevent Ukrainian strikes on critical command posts or logistics hubs. This changes the balance of power, at least in localized areas, and provides Ukraine with new options to shape the battlefield. It also sends a message globally that Russian air defense, once marketed as world-class, is vulnerable to modern warfare. Countries that once considered buying these systems will now think twice, and allies supporting Ukraine will see that their aid is delivering real results. For the soldiers on the ground, this means the skies feel different. For months they lived under the constant eye of radar systems, knowing that any drone or missile might be spotted and intercepted before it reached its target. Now that eye has been gouged out, and the fear shifts to the Russian side. It is the Russian troops who must look up nervously, wondering if the next drone overhead will strike without warning. For Ukrainian troops, morale rises because they see their efforts producing not only symbolic but tangible results. And for the wider world, this moment highlights the resilience of a nation fighting against the odds, using intelligence, precision, and determination to dismantle what once seemed unshakable. This strike, then, is not just about machines destroyed, it is about power shifting. It is about the lesson that in modern conflict, adaptation and creativity can outmatch numbers and prestige. It is about the fact that no defense is perfect, and no offense is powerless if it is willing to innovate. And it is about the reminder that this war is far from static. Every week brings new surprises, new strategies, and new outcomes that rewrite expectations. So as we conclude this detailed breakdown, the message is clear: Ukraine's destruction of frontline radars and air defenses is a decisive moment that will echo in the days and weeks to come. It reshapes the tactical battlefield, it dents Russian confidence, and it proves to the world that determination combined with technology can change the course of events. Thank you for watching this deep review and explanation on Global Alert TV. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe for more updates as we continue to bring you the latest from the world's most critical conflict zones. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay alert.